I was in denial in middle school about being trans. I think probably through like, I think 6th, 7th grade-ish, I knew that I was not a girl, but I refused to admit it. It was literally to the extent of like a voice in my head just randomly saying, "You're a boy," and me just saying, "No." And especially because I've always dressed a little on the feminine side despite not feeling like a girl. It was like my brain would always tell me, you can't be a boy because you dress like this and you want to look feminine. But it was like that, I mean, ever since I hit puberty. I never wanted to have a chest, but I told myself that it was because I didn't want to age. I was like, you know, I don't want to have a chest because I don't want to look like an adult. That's what I always told myself. And then, so that was all through like probably 6th grade, 7th grade. And then one day I just kind of snapped and was like, you know what? I'm not going to admit that I'm a boy, but I will call myself non-binary. So probably 7th, 8th grade. Honestly, wow, actually that's probably 8th and 9th grade. I identified as non-binary, but I never told anybody unless they asked. I told people I didn't care about pronouns, and I still dressed the same way I did before I came out. So I was just kind of like, you know, I was telling myself I was non-binary to relieve some of the pain of just not wanting to be perceived as a girl. And then things kind of went from there. My partner came out as trans when I was, I think, 10th grade. And that was kind of it for me. I was like, you know, if she has the confidence to come out as trans, then maybe it's not a bad thing. But I didn't do it. I went into probably the worst part of my denial at that point for about the last, probably late 10th and 11th grade. No, that would have been just 10th grade. So all through 10th grade, I was extremely feminine. I went into a really hyper feminine phase where I wanted to wear a full face of makeup every day. I wouldn't wear pants. I would only wear skirts. I refused to wear pants. And I was just like trying my best to be feminine. I was speaking in a high voice. I remember I physically trained my body to like point my feet together when I stood so I looked more feminine. And like I was really self-conscious about the way that I held my hands because I was like, you know, I can't let anybody know that this is not how I actually feel. And that lasted like a whole year. So then of course, when I finally just kind of broke down and was like, you know what, no, I'm a boy. It was a huge shock to everybody because it was just like, oh, you're wearing pants today. Like, yes, I am no longer a woman. I didn't come out to my family for a while. It was probably a year before I did, and the only reason I did come out to them was because the therapist at my school had given me a paper on safe binding, and my mom saw it. And I was ready to come out to her. It didn't scare me. I was just kind of avoiding it to not make trouble. I mean, I've never been worried about that kind of thing. I don't keep secrets from really anybody. But when she finally asked, it was like, oh man, now I have to actually tell her. And I did. And she bought me a binder, which was good because for the first half of that school year, I had been binding with about 6 sports bras layered on top of each other. And it worked, but I was in a lot of pain. And to this day, I can't laugh without chest pain. Like very much. Sometimes I'll just kind of yell when I think something's funny because it hurts less, but sometimes it hurts so much that I'll literally just start crying because my entire chest will just feel like it's collapsing. So she bought me a binder, but she refused to use my pronouns. Luckily, I was going by a different name then, but it was kind of a gender neutral name because I didn't want her to know. And she was a little upset when I changed that too. She actually still calls me by that name. And despite the fact that it's been about 2 years now, she still will only use they, them pronouns for me. Will refuse to use any masculine terms. Like I remember one time, I think it was actually like homecoming, my junior year, homecoming. I told her that I looked dapper and she got so mad. She was like, no, you do not look dapper, you look cute. She said, girls don't look dapper. I was like, ah. So, I mean, to this day, it's not. She still will only use the more gender neutral name, and she still will only use they, them pronouns, and she likes to do a lot of talking to people about having a non-binary child, despite me not being non-binary. but we're making improvement slowly. I mean, at least I'm not pretending to be a girl anymore, because that was really